So, John, is it me or did that seem particularly long today?
It seemed particularly long today. I don't think it's just you.
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is Wednesday. That means Website Wednesday.
it
We
is.
don't have Dr. V with us today. And
But I
so,
think he's on his way.
oh, is he?
I think maybe.
Well, you get a chance to get in there and either provide a website that you know
Hmm.
that we can look at, or to just create a search term or tell me a search term and I'll start looking it up here.
Let's see. What haven't we looked at yet? That
Boy,
would
it's
be,
been a wide variety of things, my friend.
that would be interesting to take a peek at.
Well, you know what?
What?
Um, so we're only about 3 weeks away from
Yeah.
what in America we call the midterm elections. They're called midterm because
Ooh,
it's halfway through a president's term.
yes.
President is elected for, in case you're not in the United States, the presidents are elected for 4 years, but all of the lower house and a third of the upper house is up for election. Approximately a third of the upper house is up for election every 2 years.
Yes.
So these are the midterm elections. So I bet there are a lot of political websites. So we've never looked at a political
We
website.
have never looked at that. And we talk about it all. Mark Hardy and I especially talk about the political sites and political landscape all the time. So let's look at one.
So give me something. What's your is someone running in your state?
Oh, there's a ton of people running in my state. So look at New Hampshire.
You want to pick a party? We're gonna have to get more specific than just New Hampshire.
Oh my goodness.
Oh look, New Hampshire Senate race.
There you go. That'll be fun.
Maggie Hansen. Is that do you know?
Maggie Hassan is the incumbent, and Don Bolduc is a retired Army general and running in the Republican Party against her.
Okay. So let's go to Maggie Hassan first.
Okay,
Is this her actual website? It's just a donation website, right?
that looks like just a donation website. Yeah.
Where is her Hassan Senate? That's the one from the Senate. There we
Yeah.
go. That's gonna be it. There we go. Immediately looking for money.
And still looks like a donation website.
It does, but it's there's a little X here. So this is a pop-up.
Yeah.
And then who did we say she's running against?
Don Bolduc. Bolduc. Yep.
There.
There he is. There's Don.
Okay, so let's take care of Maggie first.
Right.
Now, here's the thing. I mean, I don't know if you know this, John, but because the entire American political machinery has to roll out every 2 years for these massive billions upon billions of dollars spent
Yes.
election cycles, American election consultants are employed all over the world in other countries to help them with everything from fundraising, social media, positioning, you name it. So
I
this
almost ended up working on one
so
this year. I almost ended up working on a campaign this year.
it's these folks make a lot of money and
Mhm.
they get to basically they have to compete so much more often than most other places
Yeah.
that they build up a sort of a cumulative advantage. They're always trying to push the envelope in persuasion and
Mhm.
suppression and other stuff. And so it's interesting that it's never. I'm sure that the founding fathers never went into this and this design for elections thinking we're going to create the most
No.
mercenary, powerful, insightful political machines that will attract, some really top minds in everything from behavioral economics to psychology to sociology and whatever else.
Yes.
But they did inadvertently create such a thing. So this is Maggie Hassan. Now, all of that was to lead up to a point, which is to say, I would be surprised if they're not doing a good job on either of their websites
I would be
given
very surprised.
that so much attention and money goes into these. So today it might be just a matter of looking at what they're doing right.
It could very possibly be looking at what they're doing right because usually, like you said, they hire the best of the best,
Yep.
and they have more money to spend than most large companies.
Yeah. All right. So let's look at this really quickly. First of
Okay.
all, we see that Maggie is smiling in so far in all three pictures. And actually, it looks like the pictures were all taken on the same day because she's wearing the exact same shirt every day.
Mhm.
That's just sort of her look. A lot of politicians will kind of wear the same thing over and over,
Yep.
just so they're more instantly recognizable in TV coverage and stuff.
And everybody should try to do that a little bit because it's good for branding.
It's good for branding, and it simplifies the attention process.
It does.
Okay, so there's no headline at all, just her
None.
name, right?
Yep.
No, there's no reason up front why you would vote for Maggie, so that's kind of surprising. If
It
we
is kind of
compare that
surprising.
to Don, he absolutely has a headline,
Yes. I think the reason that there's nothing from Maggie is Maggie was a former governor of our state.
right?
So she's really well known.
Lots of name recognition, yeah.
Yeah. So they
But
just didn't
the
bother.
reason to not have a headline, I mean, there's no downside to having a headline.
Yep.
And I'd be curious if they're A/B testing this page. Like, if they are, there's a 50% chance that if you go to maggiehassan.com, you're going to get a different front page than I am. But my guess is you're going to get the same one, where they again are not trying a headline.
I'm gonna check it out.
So then it starts in meet Maggie Hassan. This probably should be bigger. And then Senator Maggie Hassan is working across party lines to solve problems, expand. I mean, it's very generic, right?
Same page.
Okay. Oh my God.
What?
One, two. There's like 30 words in the first sentence.
Okay.
That's like, why?
Uh,
Way too long. Way
Yeah.
too long. Like, you could have all of this. I'm not saying it should be less. I mean, the thing is, she's going to want to, politicians very much want to, they have a multivariate kind of audience, and they throw all the spaghetti at the wall, figuring they might get you something, right?
Right.
I worked on a campaign. This is like back in the Stone Age, when this kind of stuff was just being used, when computers were just being used in political campaigns, where people would talk. Our phone bank folks would call out and talk to folks, and just say, like, who are you voting for, and kind of talk to you about, you've all received these calls, right? Blah blah blah. But then as they were on their screen, there would be like a set of things. Is this like a young mother? You click on that checkbox, right? Does she live in this part of the district versus that? You click on that box, right? Does she identify as religious? You click on that box. And then, this is so rudimentary, right? But then at the end of that process, when that call was concluded, a letter would go out to that potential voter with pre-written paragraphs hitting all of her main points. And that was way back in like the 90s, like a long time ago. So there's no reason why she can't have an opening line that sets a position. Now, of course, she's a politician, and she's a Democrat, right? I'm guessing from the color scheme.
Yes.
Right. So Senator Maggie's probably going to have a upbeat, union friendly, working class friendly, female friendly approach.
Yeah.
Right. And now some of those factors are changing between Democrats. I mean, especially the union vote is becoming and has been migrating to the last several years to the Republicans instead of the Democrats. It's a big deal. But I mean, there's no reason she can't have a snappier opening line. Let's see. In 2016, she was elected to represent New Hampshire in the United States Senate, winning one of the most competitive Senate races in the country by just 1,000 votes. I'm not sure you would call that out.
I'm not sure I would call that out. No.
Only the second woman in American history to be elected as a governor and a senator. Okay. So I would humbly suggest to Senator Maggie Hassan. And how do you pronounce her name?
Hassan.
Hassan. Okay.
That's correct.
I mean, I look at that and I see Hassan.
Yes.
Mostly because I know so many people from a part of the world where that would be pronounced Hassan.
It's Hassan.
So she needs like a one-liner with 5 or 6 words to open up her like block of text here.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure.
Right. And I don't have I mean, I've never seen an ad. I've never heard of her, so it's a little bit hard to come up with something for her to say. But it needs to be sort of upbeat. It needs to be like,
Oh my God.
I could say so many things about the senator, but I must remain quiet.
Yeah, because I like her and he hates her. So,
okay, you know who she is.
oh
You're
yeah,
on the other side of the country.
doesn't matter. I was in D.C. for all those years and
Yeah.
30 years of cocktail parties and meeting and greeting, speakers of the House and things like that. I'm married to a Maggie, but not that Maggie.
But I would say of our two senators, the other one is much more in tune with what's going on here.
Yeah, well, she's also got more experience.
Yes, far more experience.
Yeah.
However,
sorry, I'm sorry I'm late to the party. This is like right in my wheelhouse.
Oh, is it?
Look,
Oh, I love- I'm a political junkie. So,
Yeah. Me, on the other hand, I deliberately stopped working for all politicians and politically affiliated groups. Like it was a conscious business decision years and years ago.
yeah.
And I just do not do it anymore.
Well, that's understandable. It's a dirty business, but somebody's got to do it.
It is.
It's like the trash people are coming through the alley right now collecting the garbage. So,
I have a certain political bent because my father was in politics for 32 years. However, I personally am kind of apolitical. I'm not really a fan of either party at this point.
What do you call someone from New Hampshire? It's not a joke. Like you call
New
them
Hampshireite.
A New Hampshireite.
Ite, yeah. Put an ite on the end. You wouldn't be you're a North Carolinian, but you're a New Hampshireite.
That's right. Yes, we are.
Californian. You're a Washingtonian, a Marylander, and a Virginian.
Mm-hmm.
like that. New Hampshireite, like that.
New Hampshireite. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't think most people would refer to themselves as New Hampshireites. That's the funny thing.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
I
A
don't-
politician can get away with it though. So
Oh yeah.
before it was, Senator Maggie Hassan is working across party lines to solve problems, blah, 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 blah. Now we broke it up into two short sentences using the M dash, right? Last time, Senator Maggie Hassan won her Senate seat by 1,000 votes and made sure to work for every New Hampshireite in her,
There you go. Including John Paduchak.
including John Paduchak. I don't even know.
So they say.
At a minimum, they should break this up, and at a minimum,
I like
they
Chip
should,
In. That
check
was
this
actually
out, right?
interesting. Instead of donate now, I like Chip In. That was a good button or series of buttons below.
no reason to not have more white space there.
There was that. And that was the
By the way, yeah,
the
I agree.
option.
This is very good. This is good wording. Chip in
that's good,
instead of
yeah.
donate or help or
That's
chip
the
in by
first.
definition means you're joining a movement, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Chip in is smart.
I
You
like
don't
that.
chip into something where other people aren't already chipping in or
Right.
are also going to be asked to chip in, so it's fine. And then
You'll
she's
be-
got a color. I mean, this is very lackluster. I mean, if you didn't know who she was, you wouldn't come to the set and say, "Okay, this is the one for me."
Yeah, I kind of agree. I
Well,
could
what about her opponent?
Oh, we're gonna get to
we're
him.
gonna get to Don next.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's
Why do
probably
you
like
know so much
Guns
about
and Eagles or
amateur
something. I
politicians,
don't know.
by the
And
way?
I'm gonna remain somewhat silent during this because I'm curious to see how you look at both.
I'm surprised there's no gun. I'm really surprised there's no gun.
The dog is an interesting
Yeah.
like
I would say
addition for a few reasons, right? I mean,
Yeah. I
understand
like
nothing
the
in that
dog.
picture, literally nothing in that picture is by accident. So
No.
the dog, by the way, this dog is a black German Shepherd, which is
Yes.
exactly what I have. And like,
So
they're
you're going to
amazing
move to New
dogs.
Hampshire and vote for him. So
But you can see that there's like there's there's a pink accent,
Yes.
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So in case you don't know exactly what we're looking at, the kerchief has, I'm
Right.
guessing, his slogan or something in pink, and then this pink on the dog's back is a little tiny, because my wife bought one. I don't use it, but it's a little tiny plastic container with little bags to pick up the dog's business.
Oh, it's not an air tag. It's like
Nope.
Your business.
Why they wouldn't remove that? I have no. Do they want to like him to like show that he like picks up the dog poop? Like I don't know why.
I'm picking up poop for you.
And
Now,
why
one-
he's wearing the leash around his neck seems silly.
Wait, the guy or the dog?
The guy has the leash around his neck.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, wow.
I can see that now.
So now
maybe
now on the
his
other
wife.
hand-
Maybe his wife is in control.
Maybe. Okay, so
Yeah.
you see his headline. It's not actually a headline about him. It's that he's doing he's basically going to all these sort of town hall type meetings and letting people
Yeah.
ask questions and stuff. And they've named it like American Strength Town Hall Tour. And the idea is, of course, that it's sort of the want to convey. If you're usually he's on
It's
the
a
right.
military font too. It's often used on.
Yes, it's like an
Yeah.
army spray
Yeah, yeah.
painted kind of font. Right?
And he's a former general, so
Yeah, there you go.
Makes sense.
Exactly. And so-
Generalissimo.
Of course, he's sort of in the wrong party because the neocons, the military establishment guys, like they don't really belong to the Republican base anymore. That's kind of
Oh, that's actually
they
true.
don't actually have a base anymore. They're sort of
No,
in transition.
it's a transition. There may turn out to be a conservative party in the future. So.
Yeah, it might be, yeah. But
Yeah.
so but the whole point is like he goes right into talking about how it's very dynamic, right? There's a town hall tour and you
Yes.
can
Yeah.
attend the event as opposed to just
Yeah.
Maggie Hassan. Like,
Yes.
that's all that's there, right? Of course, she's in
But
the
she's also appealing to more of a female demographic.
yes.
I'll tell you that.
he
Yeah.
is almost 100%.
Okay, so then we have him. Oh, and I don't know if anyone will be able to hear this, but we could try playing it. Let me know if you guys can hear it.
All right.
Okay, Don.
Oh, you won't anyway because my speaker has
No.
to be off. So there's going to be like a little. It's hosted on Vimeo, which is a good idea.
Right.
And he hosts it on Vimeo, so he has control over what pops up after the video ends. Whereas
Which
on
I
YouTube,
love.
who knows what it's going to show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Right. Here he is in his uniform. Here he is being a regular guy. Like all
Mhm.
standard political stuff.
Mhm.
Bronze star,
Commendations. yeah, the whole thing.
decorated. That
Mhm.
whole thing. Again with the font, sort of army style font. I guess he was
Yep.
an army general.
Yes.
As opposed to a marine
Yeah.
general. All right, and then help send an outsider to DC. This is, of course, the perennial. It doesn't matter which party someone's in. If they're
Always
the
outside.
if they're the challenger, they always talk about the need to send non-politicians.
If they're the Senate Majority Leader, they pitch themselves as an outsider.
Yeah,
Yes. Kind of
but,
funny,
I mean,
actually.
this is a very
But I'm
very
different.
slim down front page, right?
Very
This is
slim.
like, let's convey that there's activities. He's on the road. He's talking to people.
Yep.
Click here to find out where the event would be next to you. Get on their mailing list. His video, which looks like it loops. Yeah, it loops. So as long
Yep.
as it keeps going, as long as you're there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can learn more about him. I might change this a little bit, but I mean, look at the difference in the language. Okay.
Yeah.
In 2016, she was elected to represent New Hampshire in the United States Senate, winning one of the most competitive, blah, blah, blah. We don't need more special interest focused politicians in Washington. And if I pull these out and put them into like a Kincaid Fleisch kind of thing, I'm sure this is going to come in somewhere around, not including the first line, which I wrote, but like to take this, I'm sure this is going to come in at around like grade 9, grade 11. And this is going to come in at around grade 4, grade 5.
Yeah. I would say that's probably pretty accurate. What happens if you click learn more? I'm curious.
Oh, by the way, I would definitely steal this though.
Steal what?
Instead of calling them New Hampshireites, I would
Granite
call them
Staters.
Granite Staters.
Oh yeah, that's far better.
Much
actually, I
better.
would tell you.
That is.
And they do refer to themselves often
as granite staters, yes.
Yeah, it's
Granite
going to leave it like that
Staters.
because I have no control over formatting.
They
but
are.
that's what
They've
it was
stated it as such.
called. Right.
Yeah.
He'll fight the career. I mean, this is literally this sentence right up to naming his opponent. This sentence is so boilerplate. It's on
Yeah.
every. I bet you. I mean, I don't know how many Senate races are underway for this one, but I'm guessing around like
36, I think. Maybe I'm wrong.
yeah. I mean, give or take.
Yeah,
right?
it's
It's always approximately a third. My guess is of the 36 races,
Yeah.
that's 72 candidates minimum,
you'll find this.
and
This is
at
crazy.
least 36 of them, this exact sentence is being
Yes.
used. It's so boilerplate.
Yeah.
You'll fight the career politicians who are putting their own self-interest ahead of their constituents. Blah blah blah. Like that's so boilerplate. It might as well just like they say it in their sleep. So, John, you wanted to see what learn more is. I know
I'm
it's-
just curious.
okay.
You got my curiosity.
So this is learn more about him, and then it just sort of takes you
Okay.
through his narrative. right? He enlisted. They point that out to make sure you understand he wasn't drafted.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He's in the army. He was in
Or
jail,
that he didn't serve in the National Guard.
and he's got his sort of.
Oh, sorry, I'm wrong. It's 34 seats.
Yeah.
I think there
And then
was
he's got his
some special
obligatory
seats.
Republican thin blue line photograph.
Yeah.
Right. Understand, and just so we're clear, because I don't want anyone to be unclear, since we don't do politicians. We've never done politics here, and I don't work for politicians or their campaigns or anything related to them or any special interests. I am in America. You can not register. If you register to vote in most states, you're asked to pick one of 3 categories for what you are.
Correct.
And so you can register to vote and say you're a Democrat. It doesn't mean you belong to the party and you give them like money and stuff, but you have to be something, right?
Right.
And then, or you can, register to vote and say that you're a Republican, and so you normally would then call yourself a registered Democrat or a registered.
New York State's even better. New York State, you can register like 6 or 8 different categories.
I am what every single American should be, which is
Canadian.
I'm a registered independent.
Registered Canadian, yes.
The idea that you would pick a party when you
Naturalized.
register to vote, it seems ridiculous to me. Everyone should be a registered independent, and you make up your mind based on like the choices you have.
Yeah.
But then you can't have party structure. That's
Thinking, but I belong to no political party. I give money to like no particular. I do not give money at the party level.
That was
so
the old.
I have no dog in this fight. Let's put it.
The old line was, "I don't belong to. I'm not a member of any organized party. I'm a Democrat."
That's what is that guy's name? Will something. He's a humorist. Will something.
Oh, not Will Rogers. Yeah.
Will Rogers. Yes.
Yeah, Will Rogers.
Okay.
As opposed to Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
For both of these folks in this Senate race, where essentially you can see the tone is very different. One of them is obviously the challenger. He's trying to establish his bona fides, but then with much simpler language, talk about he's sort of like a dynamic, active, someone who's not been corrupted by the political process.
Thank God.
I highly doubt that anyone who manages to make it to the general level, in any country doesn't know
how to play politics for sure.
Okay, sure. And then on the incumbent side, she's smiling and everything. She's wearing the same outfit and everything. And it's very stripped down. It's stripped down and yet somehow manages to be convoluted.
But she's polling ahead by about 8%. So that's interesting.
Well, there's something like a 96% success rate for incumbents in the United States.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. If you're
part
in,
of
it's hard
all
to
is
get them
getting
out.
in the first time. After that, it's much easier to stay than it is.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
At a minimum, I don't know why they wouldn't make this bigger.
Make what bigger?
The font's tiny.
Yeah.
Also, it's all uppercase, which is by definition harder to read.
That is true. I have modified most of my headlines with upper and lower case, but I used to do the uppercase only. I think it was because my dad would print. When he printed in all uppercase letters for everything. Yeah. I still do it. I have to force myself.
Or I write something by hand. I still do all uppercase.
Isn't that weird? That's
at a minimum. Make this bigger. I mean, come on.
I would say so.
Because meet Maggie Hansen is exactly what you want the person visiting this website to do.
Meet her.
And yet you're sort of hiding her away down here.
Meet and greet. She should have like pancake breakfasts or something. Meet, greet, and eat.
And by the way, I don't like this line. I would, if I had time, I would go back and change this. But it's just interesting to see like the approach. I mean, because like they each have their own political consultants, and they all generally don't cross over too much.
Generally,
right? And so what you find is, there are Republican consultants and Democrat consultants.
Oh yeah,
Republican, and they sort of what works and what doesn't, and there's not a lot of crossover. There's some, but not much, and so you get this sort of thing going on. I do not understand the pink accent and the poop bag container.
Well, by the way, it's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so I don't know if he's playing on that or not.
That could be
subtly,
very subtly, right?
Yeah. Because that pink
on the kerchief would have been enough. He doesn't need the poop bag container.
The poop bag, your pink poop bag.
I mean,
If
I'm
your
looking at it. It's
dog's
over here on
pooping
the
pink,
shelf.
if
I
your
literally could go get one.
if your dog's pooping pink, you got problems.
But I mean, overall, it's also you can see it's very bold colors, right? It's black,
Yeah.
red, and white. The
Yeah,
whole
my
thing.
high school colors, by the way.
And then they sort of they go into this like navy blue
Yeah.
instead of like this banner and this are not the same color.
Yeah, it should be the same color.
You may or may not see this on the stream, but if you're
Yeah.
looking at it like on your own screen, you say this is definitely black, and then that's definitely navy blue.
There you go.
But again, like they're very like.
But he
sharp.
wasn't a Navy man, hence
Right.
hence the. Yeah.
And then you can see that she also does red buttons,
Yeah. But why?
But so
But
sort of
why
a-
with the
hers is
buttons?
sort of
Why is
red,
the
white, and
font?
blue.
But the font is so small on these buttons. I would have made it bolder. I like the chip-in one is the only one that really caught my attention.
Yes. Where was that? There. But
She's
that's
got-
not even on a button.
She has LinkedIn.
All
at
of her
the
headlines
bottom
should
of her
be like
site.
this size.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Make it big. Big and bold.
Also, this line here is so good. I would have made this the very first line in
headline.
Meet Maggie.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm serious.
Interesting.
Just to show, because otherwise she has nothing that shows urgency.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
why I would bother to stand in line for 4 hours potentially to vote for her if I
Right,
wait
right.
till the last minute
Right.
and vote on election.
Well, that's not Georgia. That's New Hampshire. So, or the other way around.
But I mean, the whole idea, this is great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Except you take out help protect our Senate majority.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd have to change it down here a little bit. But I know they may have heat mapped this. They may have decided that language, but that is the single most powerful sentence in the entire website.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Lead.
they don't get into it until you're already past the wall of text. And remember, when we started, it looked like this.
You are fighting 3 people.
Yeah, that's really hard to read.
All 3 of them are around you.
So, I mean, I don't think they should have buried their most powerful line way down here. After you get past the wall of text, you open with that. In fact, if it was me, honest to God, I'd have put it up here. Now, the only thing about that is you don't want to convey weakness.
Or, even better,
And they are conveying weakness to say that, she's their top priority, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
There it is. She's their top priority, top target.
Yeah.
So you would want to rework that if you're going to make it the very first thing on the webpage. It needs to
Right.
say something a little different so it does not convey. It conveys threat without weakness.
Yeah. This is very interesting.
So there you go.
The contrast is quite dramatic, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I love the little pink stuff on the dog, though. I think that's a good.
I mean, her website, just the color scheme alone, and it's sort of like you can see that it's sort of what's the term I'm looking for when a color is sort of not faded but not mottled, MOTTLED, but it's like
it's a gradient.
no, it's not a gradient. It doesn't. It's not lighter in one area and darker in the other. But anyway, it's not
Coordinated.
sharp
It's
or
not-
hard. Everything on this website is soft.
Yes.
The colors are soft. Even like the red
It's
button.
subdued.
Look at the red button here.
Subdued. John's the color expert. What's the term, John?
Well, I think there's 2 things to that color. One, it's fairly high chroma, is what I would describe
Ooh,
it
high
as.
chroma. What does that mean?
It means it's
Rich.
a very rich
Uh-huh.
red or rich blue, but it's also very subdued. in
I
that
mean,
it's
look at here. Like you
laid
can
back a little bit.
you can see like how sharp and hard the red is on this button, and
Yeah.
how sort of muted. That's the word I'm looking for.
Muted.
How
Okay,
muted
which
the red is.
which
It's
John
almost
did a little
pink.
while ago. Yeah.
It's like a soft red edging towards like a dark pink.
Yeah. It's almost a fuchsia.
Whereas this is more. This is bolder but harder looking.
Yeah. And the
that's done for a
contrast is
reason,
greater.
right?
Yeah.
It's
Interesting.
basically, everything about this is sort of testosterone-y, and everything about this is sort of like,
Testosterone.
and
Is
everything
that
about
your-
this one is sort of like soft, almost mothery, right?
So is testosterone your favorite pasta?
It's the San Francisco treat.
Okay.
It's the new San Francisco treat.
Oh, this is really interesting, though.
You guys knew that you could haul tags around to make new windows and then put it back together on the same thing, right?
I've never done that.
If you drag this, tear it off.
Oh yeah, I know. I have done that. I've pulled them out of my browser. Yeah,
and then
that's
you can put
correct.
them back.
That's nice. Once you go Mac, you never go back.
So yeah, very different. Like I'm sure they're very different candidates and they have very different approaches.
Yeah.
And their websites approach. I don't know either of them, so I don't know if their websites support their particular approaches. But their websites are also very different from each other.
Well, he's playing to his strength as a military.
And I've never heard of
leader.
either one of these people. So
Oh, okay. I haven't heard of this guy. So
okay, so that's website
Interesting.
Wednesday. We're a tiny bit over, but yeah, that's just like
It's
you know.
all right.
there's
It's
people
interesting. I'm
always-
sorry.
right?
Sorry, I'm late. We had a sick child. So
Yeah, especially since you like this.
I love this stuff. It's like,
I-
if I can come in, I had a whole list of suggested page 10 things.
Yeah.
Okay.
It-
Page 10. I feel like that's like what is it?
So that's
Paul
website
Harvey.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing tomorrow. We have hit or are about to hit 100 episodes.
Cool. You
And
said
I
it
have a
wouldn't
question
last.
for you guys. Normally this would be in the after show, but we'll just let the video run for a minute.
Okay.
Given that one of the purposes is this was for anyone who ever happens to watch this in the future. This entire exercise, this long exercise of being live on camera and stuff, was in a way a gift that John and Dr. V provided me. An opportunity to be live on camera, get used to being live on camera, especially since I'm someone who scripted and uses teleprompters and writes for other people who are reading a script or using giving presentations and so on. So I'm very much into the scripted out so you can deliver it with maximum impact in the fewest amount of words. I mean, I just take my copywriting approach and I move it into, speaking live when I write for other people and myself. Now, it's been great over time to become so comfortable being live on camera. The question is, A, do we continue? And B, do we keep LinkedIn?
Oh, you mean the
Platform,
platform of which we shall not speak?
There are things we can't do because we stream live to LinkedIn. Because I don't know, in case you're watching this video, these videos are always multicast. So in the same time that someone could be watching it on LinkedIn, they could also watch it on Facebook. They could also watch it on YouTube. I don't know. For all I know, it's on Twitch, but it's on multiple, all at the same time.
Not today.
And the only one that restricts us in what we can say and what we can talk about and what we have to show live versus whether we ever want to show something like pre-recorded, minimum length. The only one that restricts us is LinkedIn.
Great.
It is on Twitter.
Is that? Oh yeah,
I've done it on
I
Twitter
do it on
before.
Twitter.
Yeah.
So we talked yesterday. About the fact that one of the rules for live streaming on LinkedIn is you're not allowed to talk about LinkedIn. Videos have to be at least 15 minutes long. Videos really should not contain any pre-recorded content, even if you had like something that was really valuable content-wise to an audience. If it was more than, I would be scared to show a pre-recorded clip that was more than a couple of minutes long. So, the question is, A, do we keep going? And if we're going to keep going, now that we've hit about 100, we should probably think about, like, do we need a revamp?
A revamp.
And also set them up well in advance so people, this one.
Oh, yeah. These are somewhat semi-spontaneous.
These are we always do them Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, like 99% of the time on one of those days at noon Eastern, we're doing a show. But they're not sort of planned ahead as a campaign. They're often instantiated just very shortly before they happen. There's no way to promote them or anything like that. But do we keep going and sort of formalize it now that we've really sort of dialed in, right? Sort of the tone and stuff. And secondly, what do we do about LinkedIn? You guys have thoughts on whether we should keep or?
I think I would bag the platform of which we shall not speak.
Yeah. I don't know what is bad
In terms of flexibility. So
I'm still
I think you can always
undecided.
upload it. You can
What does
always
bag
upload a
mean?
10-minute. You can always upload a 10
You mean
minute
drop it?
segment.
You know, what we might be best doing with LinkedIn is uploading clips.
Yeah.
I think that's better.
And then because it just kind of makes more sense to do that, I think,
Right.
in terms of the platform.
And just keep our like once a month big production LinkedIn event
Yes,
like we do.
That's fine.
Yeah,
That's
we
fine.
can do that.
I like
But
that.
otherwise, it's like not live on LinkedIn anymore.
I think.
And you've gotten to witness collaboration in real time on a live stream.
And I think it'd be easy enough to upload, like small important clips to it,
Snippets.
snippets.
So yeah, that's an
Do
option.
we take a vote? I think it's been decided.
It doesn't sound like LinkedIn has a strong support base among the three of us.
I think that's because they put me in jail twice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they put you in LinkedIn jail last month, right?
Yeah, I had to escape. I had to pick the lock.
Yeah. So yeah, it's one of the things we'll need to consider.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I
It's
think
whether
it's
we
a
drop that platform and just stay on the others.
Yeah, this is pretty good. It's like the Three Musketeers or the Three Stooges, or maybe an amalgamation of the two.
Yeah.
So. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it. That's probably what's going to happen. Who knows?
But see what happens on
today's
Thursday.
Wednesday. That means it was website Wednesday. Thanks very much to the campaigns of Don. How do you pronounce his name? Baldock?
Don Bolduc and Maggie Hassan.
Maggie Hassan.
Maggie Hassan. Not Hassan, it's Hassan.
We didn't ask their permission, and we don't care what they,
Hey, they're political figures.
We care about as much about like their websites as they care about our opinion of their website. So I think
They're
we're all
public. They're in the public eye, so
I care so much it hurts.
doesn't matter what they think.
Right. And so we haven't quite hit our 100th episode yet, but we are going to hit it soon. And
So
once
champagne?
we do, we'll have a
make
little
it a cake?
celebration.
Maybe a cake?
Maybe a cake,
Champagne?
maybe like a beer. Who knows? It's only 9 o'clock in the morning in California, but when did that stop anybody?
I don't give a schnitzel.
Yeah, there you go.
It's really
we'll have,
nine
like,
in
a
that
little
cup
100th
anyway.
celebration and think about what we're going to do for phase 2.
Okay. Phase 2.
All right.
Good day.
Another website Wednesday in the can.